Hey guys, and welcome to Untier Talk, where it's finally not like 2 hours. I hope, anyway. Like we haven't finished this, but I can't imagine it's gonna be. Uh, I'm Megazord, and Hajad, how you doing?
Not too bad, bro. Not too bad.
Not too bad. But that's, I mean,
That's
you know,
yeah.
injuries aside.
That's
We have a Kingler suspect. That's obviously the big news, but both of us has kind of already given opinions on Kingler. Mine has developed a bit. There's a bit new to say, but that's pretty much all we got for you today. So, a little more laid back, I guess. But hopefully, this maybe reaches people who haven't been doing a lot of discussion because I'm going to post it in the suspect thread. And there's definitely a number of new voters who I haven't seen around P before, so that's something. So, Jad, I assume you're still. We haven't talked about this too much. I assume you're still like very pro ban Kingler at this point.
yeah. I'm as probably as many people probably listening at the moment know. I'm very anti Kingler. I'm not a huge fan of the meta game as it is. So that's in itself a reason for me to think, you know, banning Kingler would be a good thing for the tier, even if it's not the ideal thing
For
that
sure.
people may say. I think it's a step in the right direction to get rid of it, and then we can focus on other more important things maybe later.
Yeah, I think the key thing is I can't begrudge anyone for rightfully pointing out PU's not that good of a metagame at the moment. I really did like pre-shift meta. I know you had people like Gen Zion coming out and saying like, "Wow, this meta is really a problem." I liked it for all its faults. I don't think like the
The
way that
pre-shift meta, it
Pyroar.
kind of grew on me. It
Yeah,
kind of
I
grew on
think
me a
that the
little bit.
way that Pyroar and Auroras were problematic didn't stop it from being a really enjoyable meta. The same way that, like, okay, maybe RU banned Entei, but the time Entei was in the tier wasn't like a huge problem or anything. You still had a very fun metagame. Whereas right now,
Yeah, pretty
there's
much.
clearly like building just sucks and it's not fun to play. And that's the reason for the shakeup. And yet, I still wish we had suspected Pyroar over Kingler just because if it weren't for the fact that the PU meta is clearly in this very unsustainable position, um,
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't be voting to ban Kingler. It's just the kind of Pokemon that changes the meta for better or for worse, but there are techs to work around it. It doesn't, on its own, it's not unstoppable. It's not too overbearing in the game, even if it's too dumb in Team Builder. And I think it consistently rewards the player, or like would reward the player in a healthier metagame, um, who is more skilled. There are Pokemon like remember Barbaracle? That was not a Pokemon that rewarded the more skilled player at all. It was just the player who clicked Shell
Yeah.
Smash. But I feel like
Barbarical was sort of like first person to shell smash wins. Congratulations.
yeah, but Kingler I feel like really does otherwise make for a solid metagame with like just enough checks and just the way it functions. I don't hold that against it. To me, this is just a problem of like I really wouldn't want to ban this if the PU meta didn't suck. Oops. And it is a hard position to defend as tier leader. I wish people could always make like very well informed and objective positions. And I do think Kingler banning Kingler will make the PU meta better, but it's still like almost like a moral quandary for me. And I'm definitely gonna think on it more. Go look at like overall Smogon's suspect philosophy, and in the end, I may not even vote ban on this thing. It's entirely possible, although I don't expect it at the moment. But I do see where people were like, "Oh, Kingler's not that bad. It's just a strong wall breaker." I get where they're coming from because it really is just a strong wall breaker. It's just that the way it pushes the meta over the edge is a little apparent right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's my issue with Kingler. I think I made it sort of apparent with the post that I made in the PU like metagame thread. But my thing with Kingler is that sure we have counterplay for it, we have counters, we have switch-ins, um, but if you look at the actual switch-ins themselves, none of them are like what you'd call mainstays. Like Girder is balanced because we have Mesprit, which is like a mainstay. Otherwise, you can make a claim that without Mesprit and Weezing, Girder's pretty like busted in this meta.
Yeah.
So, um, like the Pokemon that check Kingler aren't mainstay Pokemon. They're not Pokemon that you slap on every team and you're just like, yeah, I'm fine with Girder here, or I'm fine with Kingler here. Like when our main counter, our like the Pokemon that you would trust 10 out of 10 times to beat Kingler is Poliwrath. And given how unpopular Poliwrath has been up until now, finding a spot, therefore, to check Kingler is or like counter it to like so you don't have to worry about it anymore is extremely difficult. And I feel like that's the difference between Kingler and your other miscellaneous threats in the tier, such as like a Lycanroc or something like that.
Yeah.
Kingler has that like the counter to it is just not popular, and I feel like it's warping the meta in a way which makes it really difficult to team build from that perspective. You can't build with Blossom every single time because it's just not tenable. It's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's something to be said though for like adapting for Kingler, because you either have like this very small and awkward, not mainstay pool of Pokemon that like really can switch in, and then you have like the broader pool of how to keep offensive pressure on Kingler. And if the meta needs to like go into this offensive state to handle Kingler, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think offense really can keep Kingler in check, with your Rocky Helmet Quillfish, because it takes so much on chip with Life Orb and Helmet and Stomping Tantrum not being Sheer Force. You have that. You have the Girder, which can still switch in if you're running the good set. You have Jinx. You have like whatever. And I don't know that just because the meta is going offensive, that would be really bad. I mean, even Swanna, you can't switch into it a lot, but it's offense, it doesn't need to. And this is definitely where it brushes up with the larger PU meta as a whole, because offense is also in a stupid place because of Pyroar.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to dismiss your point, because I think it really is an important point that like it's absolutely true that the Kingler stops are not mainstays. But mainstays getting popular just isn't necessarily bad. But in this case, yeah, it is really noticeable. Like Poliwrath would not be an A- Pokemon if Aggron, Kingler, Lycanroc, and Pyroar weren't like the four out of the 5 scariest wall breakers right now. After like with Aurora's up there too, it's just it's very weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with because I was one of the guys that went, we should probably test Kingler over Pyroar. I felt like Pyroar you could sort of fend it off with meta checks, whereas Kingler you needed a full-on counter. Especially with the way Pyroar was going, it was going towards that Z move trend, the Taunt plus Fire Z, or Taunt plus Normal Z, or Taunt plus Grass Z, right?
Honestly, I think Grassseem is the best set right now, but
yeah, I mean, if you look at it like closely, you can check Pyroar for as long as you need with, just an Assault Vest Hitmonchan, for example. An Assault Vest Hitmonchan, another special tank, and you can just sort of dismiss Pyroar and say, well, if I still get outplayed at that point, well, it's Pyroar, what do you do? Whereas Kingler, you either have one of the the 5 mainstay checks or the 4 mainstay checks that I put in the post, so like Blossom, Poliwrath, Servine, I forget the other one.
You either have those
Tangela,
very few checks that are all questionable in their own right. Yeah.
Exactly. Or you have like a couple of the like Quillfish, Sylvalia Waters, your Girders, that type of Pokemon. Or you just lose a Pokemon every single time it comes in on your Clefairy, your Hitmonchan, every single time. Because it's like damage output, I think, is like the second highest in the tier. Just straight up consistent damage output. I think it's only second to Choice Banded Head Smash from Aggron. So it won't struggle to take something out.
Mm. Yeah, but I mean, saying if you're not prepped, you're going to lose to it is the same for your Mesprit even. which is a good S rank, but clearly not like the kind of wall breaker that Pyro or Kingler necessarily are. I mean, hell, do you remember my PUPL game versus Lord SD? I was very prepared for him to bring Pyro or Kingler, was not prepared for Specs Mesprit, and hey, it came in, I just lost him on, and that was how our game went. Like, that's going to happen. But yeah, ultimately, I do think we are still both, like, clearly on the side of Kingler is some kind of problem, and the best mitigating factor I can come up with is, well, maybe it's not like really that much of a problem. It's the PU meta as a whole, man. We gotta worry about Pyroar, man. But you know, Kingler's pretty silly, and we'll see what people vote. I know so much of PU discussion really just happens on Discord that the NP thread hasn't been crazy active, and the most recent post was about how, oh man, rain is broken. And okay, so hope maybe we'll see more people actually discuss. I almost missed the time when PU was unofficial and we could do things like make all voters make a decent post, because it really does push to inform people. Because I don't know how a lot of people are voting. I look down the voting thread and they're just people I don't recognize because they're new to the tier, and that's cool. I just, we'll have to see where the vote actually goes, because I don't think you can exactly tell at the moment.
Yeah, something I'd like to point out is that there isn't really a wrong opinion. I mean, you can have a stupid opinion, but it doesn't mean that it's like wrong in any way. You know what I mean? So if I was you and you're listening to this at the moment, and you're thinking about making a post in the PU thread, please go ahead and make a post, because you might clear up some misconceptions that you might had, or you might, trigger something in people's heads. Maybe you change some people who have thought the other direction. Maybe you're pro ban or maybe you're anti ban, and you change somebody from the other side. And, every vote in this test matters, and getting your opinion out there is just as important as getting to vote on it itself.
Absolutely, I would say something to back that up. Really, you hit it all right there, and yeah. I know big posts are a lot more complex than quick chat in the Discord or the PU room, but like the benefit of just having your opinions right there for anyone to come by and read, that's huge. And that's really. I'm sorry. Did you have something else?
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna make a post on the forum, that's gonna be there forever. Like when you write a message on Discord, or you might write a message in the PU room, people forget about it after 5 minutes. So I think it's important for the taking part in the suspect process. Like, you don't want to just rack up your votes just for, and not do nothing with it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of things that might get forgot because they were just in Discord posts, and since we're pretty much done with Kingler and the podcast as a whole, that pretty much hit everything, I would like to draw the attention to a brief topic that came up in the PU Discord, where user Sam I Am had to get an extension in the PU seasonal where he was matched up with his own wife. That is just... that is a bravo for one of the best moments on Smogon I've ever witnessed. Oh, man. That's just... oh, my God. Anyway, there's the PU circuit, which actually this week looks incredibly interesting. Have you seen the matchups? Because they are crazy. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So there's you versus Dundee's as an extended match, and then whoever wins that has to play me, which is triple highlight right there. We have Sam versus his wife, and then we get Sam versus Katut, or Sam's wife versus Katut, which would be, if Sam plays them, a run back of the recent PU official room tournament face-off. You have Pogis versus J Cleo, which is good, very good, much more recognized but outside player versus a strong PU main who has done nothing else outside. You have Ivagero versus Shane Ghoul with the crazy dark horse matches. I'm just saying, PU seasonal looks fun as hell, and that's even
Mm-hmm.
obviously the for fun tour is the PU Fusion tournament, which I think is a lot of fun. But damn, I think we might have to talk about this next week because there's going to be some fire games.
Yeah, I mean, with the PE seasonal, it's nice to see like some recognizable tour players like Pogis, like enter PU seasonals, even like for no credit. You know what I mean? Just because they want to play the tier. I feel like that like that's important for the tiers like progression. That big tour players they come in and play our tier even without an incentive, a direct incentive behind it.
Oh yeah, it's great. And then there's also the Pills guy, which I think I beat him in one of the Slam Opens or an Uber seasonal or something, but I don't know. So that might apply to him too. I have no idea. Anyway, I think that just about wraps it up, right? Like that's PU. We just finished. We just finished PUPL. Nice, nice. I wish we had a bit more time of a chill break, but we got to hit the suspects because PU Ladder Tour is coming up, and oh, so
Oh
much
yeah,
laddering. Oh man. Anyway,
yeah, that's gonna be great.
we'll see you lads next week.